Chanel.
Thank you, Kaylee. One question on Cyrus Vance, the New York DA who was demanding Trump's taxes. Vance has a troubling history of protecting predators and attacking Republicans. Case in point for non-New Yorkers, in 2011, he worked to reduce Epstein's sexual predator status. In 2015, NYPD had audio evidence of Weinstein admitting rape, and Vance's office refused to prosecute. All this while attacking President Trump's family and their enterprises. Given this history, what is President Trump's views of Vance from both a personal standpoint and a political standpoint? Is this Vance is he just politically abusing the court system? What is Trump's views on him?
Yeah, you raised some very good points about the partisan attorney in Manhattan. Justice Alito said this in his opinion. It really stood out to me. He said, as for the potential use of subpoenas to harass, we need not exhibit a naivete from which ordinary citizens are free. As we have recognized a president is an easily identifiable target, there are more than 2,300 local prosecutors and district attorneys in the country. Many local prosecutors are elected, and many prosecutors have ambitions for higher elected office. Bring in Cy Vance, a Democrat, someone who Justice Thomas pointed out something very interesting. Justice Thomas noted that the district attorney for the County of New York, Cyrus Vance, served a subpoena on the president's personal accounting firm that, quote, was nearly identical to a subpoena issued by a congressional committee requesting nearly 10 years of the president's financial records. So the partisan attorney, the Democrat from New York, is aiding and abetting the Democrats, the lawless Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, who have pursued this president with bogus charges of collusion, with bogus charges in the impeachment inquiry, and are now pursuing this only to be rebuked by the Supreme Court and assisted by Cy Vance.
For non-lawyers, is there legal recourse against overly political DAs out here, or is this just a war on a different front?
I'd have to, this was an individual who was elected at the state level, so I guess the recourse would be the ballot box. But I would also note, just on that point, that you have President Obama and Vice President Biden, who were caught spying on the Trump campaign, the opposition party. You had former Vice President Biden in the Oval Office just before the inauguration, talking about the Logan Act. And later, the Logan Act was weaponized and used against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn in a way that was so unfair and a grave miscarriage of justice. But you have Obama and Biden who get away with this, but yet we need to go investigate President Trump. It really is quite nonsensical.
Yes. Thanks, Kaylee. In President Trump's tweets about the Supreme Court decisions this morning, he said he thinks the court treated him differently than it would have treated other presidents. So does he think this was a political decision by the Supreme Court, or that politics or personal views somehow entered into their legal reasoning?
So I think you were referring to the tweet about broad deference, and what he was trying to note there, what he was noting was just that there should have been further deference to this notion that I read by Alexander Hamilton and others of absolute immunity to allow the executive and the president to do the very important job of protecting this country.